And good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Quebedeaux on a Sunday evening. That means one thing, that it is time for Coach Speak, and we go 5 wide tonight. It's only been a couple of times that we've been able to do that. Got a great guest that's going to be with us tonight. You already see him on the screen. So let's get to our panel and jump right into this, because I've got to believe it's going to be a pretty interesting show tonight. We've coached him up about you can't just do the regular coach speak on this type of show. That means we don't want to hear about blocking and tackling and any of that nonsense. We got to get into the X's and O's. So let's go ahead and meet the paddle. To my far left, the voice of the Tioga Indians, Billy French, joins us down there. Billy, welcome.
Well, good to be back.
Good to have you.
This is the first time, well, maybe the second time all year we've had the entire panel out here. It's been nice to have all 5 teams.
That's right. We had Xander Smith in there with us representing Buckeye. Of course, to my left, the voice of the Menard Eagles, who will battle for a district championship this Friday night at Tom Boucher.
For the outright championship.
Outright.
The Menard Eagles are already district champs.
How about that?
Just a matter if it's going to be a co-district championship or outright with a victory over Oakdale.
Look forward.
At home. Both of our last 2 games at home.
Look forward to hearing a little bit more about that in just a minute. If you'll ever quit talking, we'll look forward to hearing a lot of that. Down on my far right, the voice of the Pineville Rebels and longtime Pineville enthusiast, Rich Dupree.
Hey, good to be here. Good to have somebody else sitting next to me besides Doug. So
Wow.
it's a good thing. B-Mac and I have traveled a lot together. Some of the back roads of Texas and West Texas. Some intentionally, some unintentionally when we got lost. But it's good to sit next to a Wildcat great.
And there it is. And we will introduce Coach Ben McLaughlin. McLaughlin, if I remember correctly, there on the name. As I give that code to my man who's back there on the naming of it. But head coach of the Buckeye Panthers and man that's turned that program around a couple of years. Coach Ben, welcome to the show.
Well, I appreciate you having me here. It's a great thing y'all do here for Central Louisiana football. So I'm glad to be a part of it and hope I can bring some insight that's not just play the next play and win the day, and we'll worry about 2 weeks and 2 weeks.
That's coach speak.
That's coach speak.
But hey, guys, for the first time, this is making history. For this young show that's called Coach Speak. We actually have a coach speaking. So
indeed, we
there
do.
you go.
And so now,
maybe the last one after I'm done here.
Maybe.
Well, you look. You got to promise us that you won't get up halfway through when you get some of these questions and leave either. You can't do that. But the process to it is we'll talk about our games that we just played this week, and you guys had an exciting one as well. So we'll probably go ahead and start with you. Give us a little recap on that interesting game there with Caldwell Friday night.
Yeah, no, it was a good game. We knew it was going to be a good game. It was Caldwell's homecoming, and I'll tell you what, their facilities and their support, that homecoming for them, I was kudos to their staff and their school. That was a really cool atmosphere. I mean, they had fans and tailgates literally. I mean, I was 5 yards behind the end zone all around, so it was a really cool place to play, and they jumped out ahead of us and got up 21-7, and then our kids fought back, and it was a lot of points. Ended up being 47-42, and was able to get a first down there at the end to hold them out. So it was one of those things where you look at the score, you're like, oh, it was an offensive juggernaut, and we did score a lot of points, and they did as well, but our defense had so many stops in the second half. I mean, they only scored 14 points in the second half, the very first possession out of halftime, and they scored at the very end to make it a one-score game. So there were some amazing stops that we had defensively, so it was a good game all around.
Well, we look forward to hearing about your Southern Air Cool Play of the Game and your Quebedeaux Player of the Week. Do you know who those are even?
I can get them here in just a few minutes. I can think fast.
We'll have them on there, and you'll just get to talk
Gotcha.
about them as they're on the screen. So
Gotcha.
we'll make it easy on you. Year 2 at Buckeye. First year was kind of feeling out and getting going. But this year, you guys have got some things into place. You've moved some guys around, and season's going just like you wanted.
Yeah, year one, obviously my first year at Buckeye, but I've been, coaching a couple different places in college, and then you go to Ash, and whether it's at college and you can recruit the athletes you want, or you go to Ash and they have obviously some great athletes and you can just play. But then you go to Buckeye, I probably outthought myself, like, well, we don't have the athletes, so we need to slow it down a little bit. We've got to, but then you go 3-7, and you're like, well, if we're gonna go 3-7, why don't we just go 3-7, doing it the fun way and just freaking go? And so we did that, and honestly, what's happened is the kids bought in. It's more exciting. The fans like to see it. It really brings a lot. I think it's going to hopefully over the years recruit more people out of the hallways that maybe are basketball only players. And so, exciting football. Nothing wrong with old school football.
Right.
Winning is winning, but when you're trying to get a program turned around, playing an exciting brand of football, I think does go a long ways. And so that's what we're doing this year.
Well, and you have a coach, Doug and panel, that was a offensive coordinator on the college level, obviously on the high school level as well. He was a finalist his senior year for the Division III award that is comparable to the Heisman, and of course won another quarterback award his senior year. Set all kinds of records playing under Dennis Dunn as a quarterback. But at the same time, he comes from a small community called Dirks, Arkansas. Right. So how comparable, Coach, is Dirks, Arkansas to DeVille?
You could not tell the difference if you were in both of them, I promise you. The only difference is, I guess, DeVille being the geographical, it's so big. I mean, we have 500-something kids in our school, and I graduated with 36, so the size of the school was a lot smaller, but the community.
So Buckeyes bigger than that? Than where you came from?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
Yep.
Oh, my.
Yeah, you talk about Squirrel Bowl wearing camo. Camo was our school colors. That's what everybody wore all the time. There was not a special. No, everybody wore camo every day. So, yep, it's cool to see the similarities between the two, because
sure.
and that's fun. Friday Night Lights and those type of small communities, and all these are small communities, but that type of community is really cool.
Well, you're getting into this. Look, it's going perfectly. You're doing what we wanted to. This is not like any of the interviews that we've had with you before that have been straight and no question. So look forward to hearing some more from you. The one team that has clinched a share of their district title on here, Buckeye, of course, will play for theirs if some things fall in line. But Tom Boucher and the 3-0 Eagles.
Yeah, it's if you think about it, the Eagles went 3-7 last year,
right?
And I think the year before was either 3-7 or 2-8. But now they're 5-3. And have an opportunity to go 7-3 on the year, and they've got Oakdale coming up. It's homecoming this Friday night. Thursday they'll have the parade. So keeping the boys focused. We talked about it with Coach Perkins and after the game. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of work to get them focused, because having the chance to win the district title outright with a victory over Oakdale, a game they should have won last year, or I say could have won last year. It was right there for the taking, and they lost it. And then they had to beat Glen Oaks to make the playoffs last year to get that third victory. So they're going to want this game, I believe. And even though they have homecoming, the parade on Thursday, they'll be ready to go Friday night at home. I mean, they have been road warriors. 4-1 on the road. Unfortunately, 1-2 away from home, or at home rather. So in this case, we've got to make sure that they come back and
right.
refocus at home, because that's been one of the issues they've had, is winning games at home.
Well, we're looking forward to a big game from there, and we'll talk about that one in just a bit, too, as well as some other highlights from there. Your Southern Air Cool Play of the Game and your Player of the Week, too. Yep. I know, and that was a 13-, or what was the final in this one?
It was 16-0. It was a shutout victory over Rose Pine. And
so congrats to Coach Scully and that defense getting that. Yeah, absolutely.
Lights out on the defense, man, all year long.
Indeed. Billy, you guys went up northeast Louisiana and ran into a buzzsaw that is the Neville Tigers.
Yeah, we knew that. I was expecting a tough matchup. Of course, we call them Neville U because they are phenomenal. I mean, it's the entire atmosphere in Neville is a college atmosphere. It's fantastic. They built a great program there. And this, we thought that good chance this might be the last time we'd see in Neville because of the district realignment and everything. Right. Wanting to go in there, of course, and get a W, it just didn't fall that way. Again, we go in there with Travis Adams, our number one running back, out of the ball game with a foot injury. But we go in there, and it just seems to things kind of really got tough going because that defense of Neville is just so big, so strong, so physical. We get in there, we hold them to an opening drive field goal, which is a big win to stop that Neville team. And then just they kind of put the clamps on our offense a little bit. But we had a few bright moments, and of course, some of that will be. But Jacorian had a pretty good night again.
Yes.
Ryan Reeves and Case Malone had a really nice little play there as well. And overall, we got out of that game completely healthy, like we wanted to. And so, of course, you take your lumps, and then you build, and you try to get a little bit better next week.
Indeed, and that's what you do, start gearing yourself up towards the playoffs.
Yes.
A game that matched a couple of our teams on here. Rich Dupree and the Pineville Rebels hosted our Trojans. Rich, we'll get your take on it from the get-go.
Well, they were who we thought they were. So, your old boy had a long night that night. So it was definitely a tough game for us, and kind of expected that on some levels after looking at huddle video from the Ruston Ash game and knowing that it was going to be, knowing how we played with Ruston, and although points wise held them. In check overall. Ash scored, I believe, on the first 4 possessions.
Yep.
And it was just hanging on to the back of the bumper after that. But 50-14 was the final, and Nathan Martin and I worked hard to come up with our cool play of the game that we'll debut here in just a few moments, and also our player of the game, which we scouted with Coach Bell on. But there's something else, Doug, that we want to present to you before.
I can only imagine.
Before we do any of the awards. And Nathan Martin, my longtime color analyst, has something for Doug. So
let's look at there. We've got, and I'm proud to accept these on behalf of the entire Trojan Nation. And I think that there should be a little bit of backstory to that, Rich. So fill out what do we have Cheetos for?
Well, I was absent
Ben's
Thursday night.
Look, Ben's like, wait, how do we get Cheetos out of here?
So Nathan was hosting the coaches show, and everything that goes with that and the emotion of all that. And instead of him just running the normal graphic side of what he does, he had the soundboard as well and just trying to get everything in place. So he was doing double duty, and I think was coming up with the right words to say relative to Ash coming to Pineville and what maybe Ash thinks of themselves. And there may have been a bag of chips comment in there somewhere. So, but instead of bag of chips, he went with Cheetos.
So I'll clear that. We'll move over to the Ash broadcast of it. And so our show goes off at 7 o'clock out at Walk-Ons. And
no, it goes on at 7 o'clock.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
It does. Here, give him. I thought having somebody in the middle would calm that.
Nope.
Coach Bachman always listens to the show beforehand. He listens to it while we're getting ready for our
Scouting.
7 o'clock show to find out what's going on. So whoever they're playing, he likes Bell. And so the comment was that they were getting ready for the Red River rivalry against a team that thought they were all that and a bag of Cheetos, but we're gonna give them a milkshake. And Coach Bachman said, "What'd he say?" I was like, "Well, it's on YouTube. You can back up, listen to it again." And it happened to be some other coaches and players in there that all gathered around and listened to that, and so. We did, and there's a picture.
That's why we don't come on these things, guys. That's why we don't like to do these.
That's what he told me.
Billboard material.
But it was a lot of fun in that, and that's what all of it is about. It's just these local games. Pineville's had the better and been able to play 2 or 3 teams from this area. And Ben, tell us your perspective of playing local teams.
Yeah, that's one thing as Rich was talking, the thing coming from the Ash perspective, being that I was there 2 years, is, the thing that's tough for Pineville is you hope when you play a team like that they're going to overlook you. But when it's Pineville Ash, nobody's going to overlook anybody.
That's correct.
You were raised playing against those people, so Pineville is always going to get Ash's best game, and Ash is always going to get Pineville's best game. So you're never going to have one of those where, they kind of overlooked us. It's just not going to happen in these type of games that are all local. Indeed.
So great scheduling, got all of that in. Who knows what the districts are going to bring to us? We'll talk about that. We're not going to take our first break.
Quick question.
Yet. Yes.
Flamin' Hot and cheddar jalapeno. Does that just explain the first half?
That's right, it does. Is there? Can you get that? Badoom-tsh? That's right. So it was, and yeah, it was an interesting night to say the least. Even have the Joe Burrow pose with one of the Cheetos, where I'm sitting back like this with the Cheeto. We do. There may or may not be a picture of that, but I digress. First segment in the books. When we come back, we're going to hit our Southern Air Cool Play of the Game and announce our Quebedeaux Player of the Week. Some of them are mighty familiar. We'll do all of that when we come back. You are watching Coach Speak right here on 446 Sports.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investments.
Wherever you are, you're there for a
And we are here for a reason. Great to have you back here. Second segment of Coach Speak. Coach Ben McLaughlin joins us. And what do you think about it so far from this side of it?
It's a show now. It is a show. That is 100%.
Indeed it is. Got to call a game with you in the booth last year or a couple of years ago, I guess, for LC. We were able to do one, and that was entertaining on there as well. But it's time for our Southern Air Cool Play. I'm sorry, Billy, I stepped out. It's time for our Southern Air
Cool Play of the game.
There you go. See, now you just have to work your way down. We're going to start there with a man from Pineville. Rich, what about your Southern Air Cool Play of the game?
Well, we were struggling to come up with a cool play of the game and trying to keep our listeners entertained. So I'm looking down, citing scores and everything, and I look up on the first play of the second half, and Aiden Tate showed up and showed out, and by the time I looked up from reading scores off the Sadler's Towing scrolling scoreboard, he was already at the 50 for what ended up being a 72-yard run for a touchdown to get Pineville on the board.
Neville over the Tioga Indians at Monroe, 30-7 at half. And
look out!
Oh, there we go.
Look out!
On the run, 30 to the 20 to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Aiden Tate.
So that's what I get for doing the scrolling scoreboard update, and not paying attention to the play there. But at least I caught him from the 50 on, which was better than the defense did on that play. But anyway, good touchdown for Aiden Tate, 114 yards overall. And what?
Just digging
I
right there.
understand. Well, the JV had just came out, and they started the second half because we didn't play our starters in the second half like the other team did. So there's that. Anyway.
I don't know if I want to be in the middle of this.
There's a method to why you're there, my friend. Let me tell you.
I don't know.
Let me
Tom,
tell you
we
that.
need to take over here and start leading this show.
I wasn't finished, but okay, go
No,
ahead.
finish up.
No. That was the Southern Air cool play of the game with the cool comment that came before it. So go ahead, Ben.
There you have it, Ben. It's on you, my friend.
Well, Jim Burlew is our running back. He also plays inside linebacker.
Is that a new guy for y'all?
He's
We've not heard of his name
He's
before.
been around. He's been around for a while here. So obviously a great player for us on both sides of the football. And crazy enough, though, the cool play of the game is not one of his 44 carries for 178 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's a defensive play that he made.
Okay, do you see how he just throws that in? There's a quick little disclaimer, 44 carries, 100, and does that. What does that give him, 25, 26 on the year?
27.
And one defensively.
Yep, 28 total if you count his defensive touchdown.
Good,
So
well, you had
this
it.
was a huge play, stopped them right here on 4th down, and we win the game because this was one of the huge stops we had, and he was obviously an integral part of it.
Well, let's take a look at it.
3:26 left to go in the third, trailing by 1. Here's the snap. He's in trouble and dropped for a sack. Good job by that Buckeye defense, and that is going to be, oh yeah, Jim Burlew coming in and tripping him up.
Yeah, I mean, and so obviously, we play 80-plus plays on offense, and the other teams usually plays around 50. I mean, he's on the field for 130 snaps plus a game, and so we have to really spot play him on defense, but you better believe if there's a big moment on defense, he's going to be in the game.
Does he take tickets for y'all too? I mean, what does
Might
he
as
not
well.
do?
I tell you, he's a fun character. But the good thing about him is, and when your best players are your best people, they're fun to coach, and he's one of those. He is one of the nicest, hardest working kids, and so deserves every single good thing coming for him his way.
Well, that's great to hear about that young man, and everything that we hear about him is positive. Taking a look at the Alexandria side of the Ash and Pineville is a young man that has led the way in tackles for the Trojans, and it just seems to be all around the football, anywhere you go, and one of the best young men that you'll talk to, and you look at him, and he's, 5'7", 5'8", and about 150 pounds, and you wouldn't expect that he is around the football the way he is. Has led the team in tackles, has not got an interception until Friday night. Chuck, let's look at it. Whitty back under center.
Pass.
Dropping back, the lefty throws this one out there, and it's picked off. How about that, Jason Blackwell? Get to the outside, JB. He's to the 10, 5, inside the pylon. Pick 6, Jason Blackwell. How about that? You talk to anybody there, and Jason Blackwell, and just one of the finest young men that you'll find, well deserving of it. And if he had another 30, 40 pounds on him, he'd be a D1 recruit without a doubt.
He obviously coaching him there for 2 years. He's another one of those kids you root for. He struggled with some injuries, but he's such a good kid, always smiling. Man, that's awesome to see him make that play.
Yep, came up and Jason Blackwell doing big things. We'll move over to Tom Boucher and the Monona Eagles.
Yeah, in this game, the Eagles, for the 3rd week in a row, jumped out to the lead and then were able to hang on and win the game. And one of the characters involved in this Southern Air cool play of the game has actually turned his name into a verb. His name, if you get Hiltoned, then, you don't want to be having any electronic equipment around him. I think
yes, I remember him from our time we did the show.
He's a young man that did when y'all did the coach's show for me.
Yeah, Chuck remembers him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was the second possession. Menard already led 6-0. And they were trying to throw the ball. And what was interesting is they ran this same play, about 2 plays before, and Jake Vaughn missed Gavin Hilton down the sideline, but this time he did not.
All right, Chuck.
Boucher, John Wolf, the pass long. He's got him open.
There it
That's
is.
going to be a touchdown.
Hey.
Gavin Hilton, Jake Vaughn with a dart.
So that was the play earlier Jake ran on, took it off and didn't wait half a second, and Gavin was open again right here. He was open in the first series. Jake couldn't quite find him. Jake found him this time and hits the 43-yard touchdown pass. Perfect play.
Southern Air, cool play of the game, and we'll be naming at the end of the game. And I think we have a candidate,
John, a little bit, weren't you? My
Got a
goodness.
candidate. We could have one of the tackles for a loss.
Hang on,
back
his
there,
Southern
too,
Air cool
for
play's
Brown.
not quite over yet. We said we were going to go to a short clip on there, but I think they got the kickoff in on that play too.
Well, it was the extra point that we were going to.
Right.
But we
Thank
could have cut that off at any time. I figured Chuck was in charge of that.
Yep.
But it was one of those plays you're going, all right, we got a candidate now,
right.
And then you're waiting. Well, it was 13-0, and we waited and waited and waited and waited. Got a field goal in the 4th quarter for the 16-0 score.
That's a beautiful one too. Billy.
Yeah, of course we go up to Neville, and big matchup. We expected to come in with a fight. Offense struggled a little bit, and normally when your offense is struggling, You rely on special teams to kind of come through. Now, this is the kickoff. This is Mr. Ja'Cory Norris. Now, I will say that you cannot have a 100-yard return in high school. I understand that because we're not. But this is when you watch this replay, you watch how his body is contorted when he catches the ball, leaning over the kind of Odell Beckham-esque. Is why I call this a 100-yard return, and you're going to see it right here.
That's going to be number 7. That is Sergio Leave going to kick that one. And that's Ja'Cory, and he's going to try to run it all the way. Ja'Cory breaks one. Ja'Cory to the left side. He almost gets tackled by one of his own players. Ja'Cory all the way down to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Ja'Cory Norris.
That's a way to get a spark back.
A 100-yard touchdown return by Ja'Cory into the almost.
And I'm telling you, he was leaning over. You couldn't see it because it went away right at the end. It was leaning over to make sure that he could catch it without getting his feet in there because he wanted to return the ball that bad.
I just want to know what guy he blocked in the back on his own team.
He literally stepped on his rear end and just kept on going.
Yep. There's a track mark there, I'm sure. So
that would have got called back at what Franklin.
Wow. Well, I mean, it was a great night for him. Of course, he did that, and we had a few good plays here and there. But especially, he's come through all year long. It's funny that not only is he such a good player, of course, we talk about the character of a lot of these guys. He's homecoming king. This young man just seems to always be in the right place at the right time, and we're very, very proud to have Ja'Cory Norris on our team.
Well, great job, Ja'Cory, and I've got to tell folks one more time, and I'm going to look in here and do it. Do not kick the ball to Ja'Cory Norris. Find where one is on the field and don't kick it his way because that's the kind of stuff that happens.
He had a 65-yarder, almost broke one more. Last tackle got him. The kicker got him at the end, or he would have had a second one.
Did they give him grief about getting brought down by the kicker?
No.
Come on. Not after a 100-yard return, huh? All right, let's stay there and go to your Quebedeaux Player of the Week.
Yeah, so, again, we struggled offensively, but there was a little bit. We had a little second half. We started to roll out a little bit more. Again, the size of Neville is just – they're humongous. Right. It's just big young men. And so staying back in the pocket, he didn't even have time to really set his feet, Case Malone, our sophomore quarterback. So that second half, we start to roll out a little bit left or right, and then we had time for our receivers to get open. So this player of the game is going to be Ryan Reeves. Ryan Reeves was able to, he plays that tight end, kind of that hybrid tight end, flex thing with the fullback's position. But now he's starting to get in, a little bit more involved in the game. Not only did he have the touchdown catch late in the game, he's also our punter. Right. And he was able to flip this field position a good bit tonight, Friday night. And so Ryan Reeves is the first-time winner of that award, is our Quebedeaux Player of the Week.
There you go. And did we say? I didn't know if we saw that game. Okay, I was too busy listening to what you were telling me that for some strange reason. Tom Boucher from Menard.
Well, I said it before. We'll use the fellow that has his name as a verb, and the Quebedeaux Player of the game has now been Hiltoned, and it is Gavin Hilton. He had both touchdowns on the night, but you saw the Southern Air cool play of the game with the 43-yard reception. Had to turn around to catch it, and kept his footing and made it into the end zone. He's got speed, the jet sweep. He runs that. Almost had a touchdown last week. Was pushed out at the one. Friday night he got one off of the jet sweep, but it was time for Gavin to be the Quebedeaux Player of the Week.
Well, great to see that. I'm surprised that Chuck didn't make it wiggle out and go black on that screen. Right.
He'd be all blurry.
That's right. Chuck still got some stuff for Gavin. So that's right. Don't shake the monitor. Doesn't count that way. For the Trojans, this was a difficult one because there were a lot of players that put up a lot of big numbers in this one. Ty Feaster the week before had a great one, but it seemed like every ball that was getting caught in space, in traffic, wherever it was at, this young man had 6 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown, and was tackled outside the 1-yard line on one that would have got him into the end zone. But E.J. Scott with just a huge game. And if you go around and you look out on the team and you say, all right, where's their big receiver? Who's the big guy that we're going to get? You don't find Ford. You're familiar with E.J. You know him too. He just gets open and gets around. Yeah, he's just a little guy.
Yeah, he makes a lot of plays. I got his first year at Ash when he transferred in was my last year there, and so he wasn't eligible varsity wise, but you could see that he had a bright future.
Well, and with him and Washington and Jimmy Duncan being productive at the wideouts, they've been able to take and move Mamai Mingo and Jalen Johnson over to the defensive side of the ball, and that paid dividends as well as one of the plays Mingo was able to go up and knock away. But congratulations, E.J. Scott, you are the Quebedeaux Player of the Week for the Alexandria Trojans. Coach?
Yeah, no, Scott Mills texted me and told me that they gave it to Jim Burlew again, and he did say they had a hard time going because Hayden Boone caught, 2 big touchdown passes, and obviously Adam Broadnax threw those to him. We threw for 250 yards in the air, and so we had our passing attack was a huge aspect of it. I think the combination of what Jim did, carrying the football plus those plays he made on defense, it's hard not to, if we play well, you probably could give Jim the player of the game. It's pretty much a guaranteed thing there. So proud of Jim, and hopefully we can have a repeat performance.
The best takeaway of that whole segment was that we had Jim Burlew's picture on there. We've not had that. Finally, we got the picture.
Can we bring that back up again, Chuck?
Because that way people are able to know who he is. Yeah.
I want to vote for his mustache right there for some type of. Look at that. He has a future as a future. Maybe a cop later on down the road if he wants to. But man, that mustache is pretty special right there.
Quebedeaux's mustache of the week.
Well, out there at Buckeye, you can grow those full beards and all of that.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's all
over the place.
Yeah, it's there.
Just
Mullets,
wait till
everything.
No Shave November. It's just around the corner. Rich Dupree and the Pineville Rebels.
And I was going to say, Coach, speaking of your play-by-play guy, Scott Mills, I'm glad he's listening because he texted me to say, you said Dirks, Arkansas correctly.
Yes,
so,
it's not Dirks. I'll die on that hill.
Right.
Dirks,
so, it took another hog to, to recognize that. So, Scott, was at least proud that we got that part right. So, anyway, appreciate that. Scott enjoyed listening to his call, he and Kim's call of that game. For us, our player of the week, we could have gone a couple of different directions. We had, of course, obviously Aiden Tate coming back from concussion that he had against West Monroe and didn't play against Ruston. And he played against Ash, 12 carries, 119 yards. Could have went that direction. He's been player of the week before. We also looked at the defensive side of it, and Zane Seitz, who had 7 tackles to lead the way, could have been considered. He also played tight end in the game, which we didn't anticipate. But ultimately, in talking with the coach, who was disappointed that some of his skill position players didn't show out like he wanted to, the biggest gain he got grade-wise was from the offensive line. And so he asked us to consider, and of course on Thursday night's coaches show, Nathan Martin had all 5 of the offensive linemen all lined up there at Jim Deggy's and interviewed them, which was the first time for us to do that. And one of those young men will be our player of the week. He is the center, number 69, Dayton Bass. So congratulations to Dayton Bass. All of everyone up here understands the importance of a man that can handle that football, whether it's snapping with the quarterback under center or out of the shotgun. Dayton Bass is just that. He is just a junior for Pineville, 5'11", 252. And so we really went a little different this time, just to give you guys a name and get someone else in consideration for that Player of the Year award. So Dayton Bass representing the whole offensive line for the Pineville Rebels.
And a reminder, our Quebedeaux Player of the Week winners will be vying for a team-specific Player of the Year, and then we'll award an overall Player of the Year, and that will come up at a banquet here. Once all the teams are done with football, we'll get that put together, and it will be out here at Quebedeaux. We invite you to come out for that. Going to take a break. When we come back, we'll look ahead at this week's matchups. We'll do all of that right after this. You are watching Coach Speak right here on 446 Sports.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, The trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family for all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, Apparel and Promotions in Pineville.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
Time for a red, white, and cool summer event at Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Right now, you can save on a new energy saving system. No money down, 0% interest, and no payments till June 2024. Call Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing or visit us online.
Rolling right along through another episode of Coach Speak, and it was good to get Coach Ben McLaughlin out of his shell a little bit. A lot of times when he's being interviewed, it's straight laced, but we informed him, hey, you've got to have a little bit of fun on this show. So we're going to take part in what we look ahead to next week, and we'll go right to left on this. Rich, what's up next for the Rebels?
So in week number 9, Pineville will be hosting West Washita. West Washita coming in for senior night at Pineville. Pineville has, I believe, 11 seniors, not as big a senior class. But looking forward to that. It'll be the last home game as well, and maybe the last time we see West Washita, as they're rumored to be going down in district while Neville comes up to 2-5A. So that will.
That's a tough trade.
Yeah.
Wow. To trade West Washita for Neville, let me tell you.
There's got to be a few other first-round draft picks in there and a player to be named later or something.
Look,
but,
that's the kind of fantasy football trade I make. I'm the West Washita guy going, what?
Yeah, right. So it will be West Washita. We are doing something a little different this week, too, with our coaches show. It'll be on Tuesday night instead of Thursday night. Thursday night, Nathan and Robert from our broadcast team, I believe, are doing the junior high championship game on 446 Sports. So,
indeed, yes, that's right.
Excited about that. And
a couple of Ash feeder schools battling for the junior high championship. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Maybe they'll play with the JV,
that's
right?
That's why they call it Coach
wow. But anyway,
Did he really?
I'm sorry.
But anyway, so we may do the game on 446 Sports, or we may find a radio station to do it on.
Right.
But anyway,
right.
So be that as it may, we will have senior night. So coaches show Tuesday night at Jim Deggy's, 6 p.m., and then of course Friday night West Washita at Pineville.
And this past week, it was kind of special. You guys retired a jersey over there too.
We did. Cody Ford, who was on his bye week, and they planned it that way, came in. His family, some family here, his mom that lives in the Tampa area, flew here, and it was great to honor him. And Southern Air played a big part in helping do that as well. But Cody Ford played at Pineville High School, obviously went to Oklahoma, where he was an offensive lineman for 2 Heisman Trophy winners in Kyler Murray and in Baker Mayfield. and then now playing for the Cincinnati Bengals, blocking for Joe Burrow. So it was a nice treat to have him and his number 74 retired, and certainly a fine young man that continues to come back to Pineville, to the community. And he's done summer camps in June each of the last 2 years after coming home 3 years ago and just talking about, hey, what can we do to give, what could he do to give back to the community? Cody's also, during times of natural disasters here, has donated supplies, air conditioners, different things when we've had hurricane and tornado activity here. So, that's very nice for, someone. Nathan and I talked about that on the air of, not many of the kids that we broadcast on Friday nights play on the next level as far as college is concerned. And then that number gets even smaller of the number of athletes that go on and play on the professional level. And, we're fortunate that our schools have had at least a representative of that, and, someone that does, go on but comes back and gives to the community is something to be honored, and Pineville did that.
Absolutely, and a great night it was. Coach Ben McLaughlin and the Buckeye Panthers.
Yeah, no, Marksville, the Marksville Tigers are coming to town, and they've got a lot to play for as well. I mean, they're a team. I think they went 1-9 last year, and here they are sitting out with 4 wins already. And so I know I think on social media they made a post that they think that if they can win out, they have a chance for a home playoff game. So, and we know if we're kind of in a position as well to, I think, and we're in different divisions with all the playoffs, but we're pretty sure we're in as it is right now. But we're really close to that home playoff line as well, and so that's what we're both preaching to our kids. As it's going to be, I know it's been a rivalry from the past, and 2 programs with relatively new coaches. My second year in his first year, and really both of them kind of got it flipped on the other side. So should be a good crowd and be a lot of fun. Is there any chance, you bring up divisions and differences, is there any chance of them going to same division, same districts type of a setup? Yeah, no, we've in the coaches circles we've talked about that. They're the LFCA, the kind of the Louisiana Football Coaches Association, are going to probably make a proposal in January to, if we're going to do this in the playoffs, then why don't we make our districts the representative? And so we talk about West Washtenaw going down, Neville going up. We were talking about Vidalia coming up into ours, and even as it is, we're not going to know where everything settles till November. Right. And so it's just such a weird time right now. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing. But I think the LFCA is going to say, look, let's don't wait 2 or 3 years. If we're going to do this, we've already obviously voted on it. Let's just go ahead and do this now. And so I think it honestly would be nice just to do that and get going the same direction. And so it'll definitely shake up the districts around. That'll be interesting to see. Indeed it will, but it makes a lot of sense. The Ash Trojans, 3rd week in a row not to leave Rapides Parish, and that's not a bad thing. And they'll play host to the West Monroe Rebels. West Monroe has had a stranglehold on the Trojans through the last few years in district play. The last win by the Trojans was in 2020 in a semifinal matchup that vaulted the Trojans into that state championship game. Coach, that you remember calling that one, and so looking forward to getting there. The Rebels had their streak of 150,000 straight district wins in a row snapped last year. And so a little bit of a down year, but it's always West Monroe when it's West Monroe until it's not anymore. So it's going to be a big-time battle there at J.L. Butch Stoker Stadium on the new turf. Menard has a chance to go out and win the district outright.
Outright. They are the only undefeated team in the district right now at 3-0. Stand at 5-3 overall. They have their last district game against Oakdale Friday. Only a 5-team district, so if they go 4-0, they will have it outright. And then they're staring at a possible 7-3 season with Glen Oaks coming in at home. But this week they got to focus on this week. It's also homecoming, so there's added distractions with the parade and then the dance and all that goes with it on Saturday night. But you got to get through Friday night first, and the Oakdale Warriors will come into the Eagles Nest, and they're going to want to win it. Because if they do, then you've got a 2-way tie with them, but they'd be 2-1, so they'd still have one more game. Avoyles beat them. Avoyles 1-1, so
carry the one and that would absolutely do it. So your show this week, We were out on site at Ash. Rich and them did it from the parade route the year before. Billy and Chuck had the drone, and we're out there. What do you guys have planned for the show and the parade?
So the show will be Wednesday night at Jim Deggy's.
Normal.
Yeah,
Okay.
normal at 7 p.m. But
At Jim Deggy's?
I mean, no.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow.
At Wildwood Pizza.
We just got canceled.
Good
for
catch.
that. Wow.
Good catch. Sorry, Garrett. Sorry, Gary. No, we're at Wildwood Pizza in Alexandria off of Texas Avenue.
Wow.
I thought he
That's
was
all I
mixing
got.
it up.
Wow. That's, yeah, let me get them on the
Anyway,
phone.
we will have we have our interns that'll be out there doing like a man on the street.
Okay.
And for the parade, John Wolf is pulling a float, so we'll have representation there on Thursday, and we'll have one of our halftime during the final game, Glen Oaks. We'll be able to see all the homecoming festivities that the interns put a story together on.
That'll be cool. That'll be really good to see. Those guys have done a great job. Billy French and the Tioga Indians.
Yeah, we're going to be back home at the reservation, our final home game of the regular season against Peabody. Of course, this is a fun matchup. Peabody coming in 6-2 this year, playing really, really good football. Tioga, of course, 7-2 coming into this ball game. So two teams with only 2 losses. Again, I'm excited about seeing this matchup. I know Peabody is very, very, very good at throwing the ball down the field, and that kind of bodes well to what we like to do as well. So it's going to be a fun night at the reservation, and again, final senior night. So it's going to be a good time. And normally we pack the house. Like, again, we've been blessed this year. The furthest we've traveled, of course, we did have to go to Neville. But we've had so many games, of course, with Pineville coming to us. We've been able to stay locally, and so you've not had to pay a whole lot gas mileage this year from Tioga Crew.
Well, that's a good thing.
You pay mileage?
For sure. Mind your business, Tom. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will do our version of Chalk Talk. This is where we get the chalkboard out and we figure everything out, and that'll wrap things up for us tonight when
I'll
we
take
do
some
that.
notes.
Are you written out? Well, you have to lead one of the segments.
All right.
So we'll see that. We'll do that when we come back. You are watching Coach Speak right here on 446 Sports.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
For a lifetime of the best possible vision, look to Wallace Eye Associates, where our tradition of eye care excellence in Cenla spans nearly 40 years. From your next family eye exam to cataract and glaucoma evaluations, trust your vision to the experienced eye professionals at Wallace Eye Associates. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
Time for our red, white, and cool summer event at Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Right now, you can save on a new energy saving system. No money down, 0% interest, and no payments till June 2024. Call Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing or visit us online.
Back to wrap things up here on a Sunday night episode of Coach Speak. And again, before we get into Chalk Talk, Coach Ben McLaughlin with the Buckeye Panthers. What a great season you guys are having on there. A lot of great things that you've done. But what a pleasure it is to have you sit in with us here.
Well, like I said, what y'all do for the area and the sports, not just football, but I know y'all do a lot of other sports as well. It's awesome that we get some, get the kids, get them out there, get their stuff on video. That's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for that. I know the relationship you and Rich have went back a lot of years, and I know he'll echo those sentiments, and it's just great to be here alongside you.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. Good to have his family in the audience as well, his two beautiful daughters and his wife and father-in-law, making sure that he has a cheering section here. And I saw a game day sign a while ago, so I mean it's fantastic, and love what the McLaughlin family mean to our community. So
one of them had the Washington State flag back there.
There you go.
Everybody's got to have that flag. Was it old red?
Or it's not really a shoe. See, she's got it. There you go. There you have that. Unable to get to our. Oh yeah, we do have that coming up here. But thank you to Lamar and Brett McCormick for making out. Brett, of course, keeps all of our stats for us.
Yes.
Huh? I'm sorry, Chuck. I don't have that. Yeah, that Chuck. We still haven't worked on that.
His
that part of
charades
it
are
yet.
getting a little better, but not quite there yet.
So
Two words.
Before a couple of weeks ago, I guess, we did those, and we couldn't see the monitor. The monitor was gone. So Chuck is over there, and he's acting out each one of the plays. So he's legitimately, if the quarterback's rolling, he's rolling. Thankfully, it wasn't the week that the center was the play, because I'd hate to have to see
That would have been a bad
deal. the entire segment on there. But Chuck, if you don't mind not muting me and bringing up our version of Chalk Talk. He did do that. He muted me right away. We'll go back and Coach Ben, we'll let you go over last week's results. That's the first on there. So why don't you recap last week's results?
All right, last week's results. Tioga went up to Neville and had a 44-13 loss. The Ash Trojans, I'll couple these two together, played the Pineville Rebels. Ash took the win at 50-14. Our Buckeye Panthers.
Hold on,
all right, am I messing something up here?
Well, no, you didn't at all. But Ash wins 50-14 and Pineville loses 50-13. Not sure how that worked out. But anyway,
Phantom
I'll
points
let you,
there.
Yeah, I'll let you get right back in it.
The bettors in the audience may have some issues in some of those.
That's right.
Our Buckeye Panthers was able to get that big win up at Caldwell, 47-42, and Holy Savior Menard with a 16-0 shutout.
There you go, and wrapped up a tie at least for the division. That was he had that correct on there. So you had a great job with the Week 8 results on there. So
whenever they fire me and kick me out of this profession, I guess I can come and join you guys full time.
That's right.
Instantly have a spot. That is correct. If it's not on radio, Rich says. Wow, goodness gracious. Moving right along, we'll look at the standings, and we'll let Billy, since Tioga sits atop the rankings, we'll let him go ahead and do that.
All right, Tioga after Week 8, Tioga 6-2. Right behind them is Ash at 5-3, alongside Buckeye as well as 5-3, and Holy Savior Menard 5-3, and rounding it out is Pineville at 2-6.
So there you have the Coach Speak 446 Sports standings on there, and Rich, why don't you take it through next week's matchups for us?
So Tioga will be hosting Peabody in week number 9. Ash will be hosting West Monroe. Buckeye will have the Tigers of Marksville. Menard playing for that outright district championship against Oakdale. And Pineville will be hosting the Chiefs of West Washita.
There you have it.
Everybody at home.
All home games.
Everybody at home.
Yeah. Wow. That doesn't seem. I guess we are. There's been times that we've all been on the road too, and that's a quirky side of it. Of course, every game's a road game for you, isn't it? From Woodworth to but that's a long way. That's a long way to go.
I'm on your side.
Thank you.
That was pointing out a fact on there. Just slow down when you're going through Woodworth. Wow, these things.
You got to be able to bob and weave.
This is it's a tough show. But one final word from each of our guys on there. Billy, we'll start with you.
Big matchup tonight Friday night at the reservation against a very good Peabody. Very excited to see Peabody. They always have phenomenal athletes, but from what we're hearing, a little bit of the research that I've got to see, they're being able to throw the ball. So it should be a super fun matchup. This Tioga secondary, as good as they are, against this high-profile Peabody offense.
Well, looking forward to it. And your coach's show, tell us about that again.
It will be right here Thursday night at 7 p.m. here at Quebedeaux. Again, come in, bring the house. If you wear something Tioga, you get a special menu for all the Tioga fans. And when I tell you, it is extremely cheap, very, very,
inexpensive.
Very cheap.
Inexpensive.
Price-wise, look, we live in Louisiana.
Right.
You don't. It's
right.
cheap.
Right.
The price is cheap. You can get a po' boy for $8, and you can't get that anywhere else. So please come in here. And
you can't just come by here tomorrow and wear your Tioga gear and get one in the middle.
I got a hat for you. You come by Thursday
It doesn't work
night.
at lunch. You can't come do that. Tom Boucher, final thoughts.
Well, Wednesday night, we're going to be at Wildwood Pizza. Got to make sure I state that. 7 p.m. with the Eagles Nest Coaches Show with David Perkins and Thomas Scully. Hard to believe. Week 9, that we're this late in the season, and also this late in the season to have homecoming.
That's right.
And Menard will have theirs Friday night against Oakdale. Oakdale 6-2 on the year, as you saw. Menard 5-3. So a huge game for the Eagles to wrap up the district as the sole champions of the district. And I'm sure that that's what they want. And possible home field, if they can get by Oakdale and then win the last game and go 7-3. The other thing, also with homecoming, it's hard to believe 40 years have gone by for my class.
Right.
1983.
It's not that hard for me to believe.
40th reunion.
Not a stretch.
For the 1983 class. So they'll have a tent out there at the field and
just
so
a tent.
I've got to stay focused.
It's a Hickson Brothers tent.
No, it would be Kramer.
Wow. This is so when you were there, y'all all went in just the one room, right? And everybody came to the same classroom, and you ran up the hill with your
One
little
teacher.
apple in your bucket. And,
Barefoot both ways. Yeah,
both ways.
In the snow.
Wow, this thing goes sideways in a hurry. Thankfully, we're in our final segment. The Trojans welcome in the West Monroe Rebels, looking to get that I guess, bad taste out of our mouth of what West Monroe tends to do in regular season play. Looking forward to a big night out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Should be senior night as well if we're on the road the next week. So it's good for me to be informed and keep up with stuff like that. I'd love to tell you when our coaches show is, but I'm not sure. Working out those details on it. But it will be this week, I can assure you of that. Our game will be 7 o'clock Friday night. Come out to the game. As we always tell you, watch the game afterwards. We'll go live at 6:30. It's going to be a good one. Come out and check it out. Ben?
Yeah, Marksville's coming to town, coming to see us, and I just kind of wanted to give a shout-out to our community. Buckeye has obviously always – people talk about how awesome the community is and support, and so and now that we're in the mix, it's been a lot of fun. So it'll be a good game to come out and watch if you're not wanting to watch one of the other 5 home games in the area, and we appreciate Scott and Miss Kim. And I had a coaching buddy of mine that coaches out on the East Coast, and he said the best addition they've had was Kim getting on the mic. He said it makes him that much better. I was like, that's usually what women do for us.
We've all been saying that, but we don't say it to him.
Oh,
but
my fault. Can we take that out?
Yeah, we'll edit it out.
Okay.
I promise. Yeah,
Perfect.
Sure we will. We're going to block and tackle, and if we don't commit penalties, and hang on to the ball. So there you go.
They're a well-coached team. They're a well-coached team. Wow.
That's announcer speak. So to steal a T-ball phrase, Rich Dupree is up. Last batter. What do you got for us, Rich?
We're playing another team from the Monroe area that has West in front of their name, but they are west of Monroe. They're west of West Monroe. They're West Washita. And the Chiefs will be here on Friday night. Our coaches show will be on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. at Jim Deggy's instead of the normal Thursday night time slot. And, again, I want to give a good plug to Nathan Martin, Robert Anderson. They're going to be doing the junior high championship game from Pineville High School between Pineville Junior High and Tioga Junior High on Thursday night. So good opportunity there. First time for 446 Sports to carry a junior high game, and it'll be a good time to carry one with it being the junior high or the district championship game as well. So appreciate our team doing that, and Jim Deggy's allowing us to move to Tuesday, and so they have great pizza every day of the week, but Tuesday night will be a good time for that.
And that's one of the things we haven't done is a junior high district championship time. We did a 5- and 6-year-old Super Bowl, if you remember.
Yep.
Remember that a few years back. So we'll get out there and do just about anything because it is all about the community. Thank you so much for joining us, all of those that came. Our biggest crowd of the night too. I think it was the group.
We had to turn people away at the door.
I
thought that was Coach McLaughlin bringing in like special guests out here.
I had to turn a few Buckeye families away. They were coming. I say, guys, the restaurant's closed. You got to go home. Sorry.
Look, stay tuned for next year. The Ben McLaughlin Show will debut. We're not sure where, but it will. That'll be great support. It's a wonderful crowd and a great community and family that you guys have out there. So that's going to wrap it up. Yes. Oh, Chuck. Oh, hang on. Yes, Omaha. That's right.
Oh,
we do
we
have
got an
something.
audible.
We do have something. We got a special video, and if you'd like, as a matter of fact, if your family would like to come around this side, they can take a look at it too. Are they going to be able to hear it, Chuck? Or is there any volume?
Nope.
Come on.
Here, look. Let's
Come on up here.
Get the headset.
Come by
you
Dad.
see the family that made it. Look,
Yeah.
this is what
man.
this is
Look,
what
I
makes
got,
the show.
I got my kids over here too. Y'all come over here. my kids. Get in
Right
here.
We got
baby.
I just got Tom. That's all I got. That's all I got. All right, Chuck, take it away. That's
That's the Omaha cool play of the game.
and he held me up to play this.
Right.
It's been fun.
Wait,
I think I know what this is going to
So
be.
the beauty of live TV is that let's see live TV. Here
Kim,
we
this
go.
has been fun. I'm exhausted.
See a very
Let's go.
excited.
And
slow
final
walking,
score tonight,
yeah.
47-42.
There we are.
Panthers win
That was you.
over the Spartans as coach graduated by one of his
honestly,
daughters
that's-
over there.
I mean, we put so much
And
into these things
for
for coaches.
Kimberly,
It's,
I'm Scott. Good buddy. Well,
you know,
our
we
final
literally
scores,
pour everything
47
into
to
it, and so when
42.
you do happen to get a big win, and they're there to
5-point
support you
win
afterwards,
over
it's
the
literally a
Spartans tonight.
family celebration. That's a lot of fun. That's a cool moment that Scott and them captured. I really appreciate that.
Well, look,
Kim,
we
this has been
appreciate
fun.
all
I'm
of
exhausted.
the work
Let's
that
go-
you
let's
do,
go home and
the
rest.
way that you've opened
Final
up
score
your,
tonight,
your family and your life and your
47-42.
team to us.
Panthers get a
I don't see
huge
a better way
win
to end it
over
than
the
that.
Spartans
We are all about
as
family, all
coach is
about community,
congratulated
and
by
all
one of
about
his
you
daughters.
watching us. Thank you so much for all of our panel out here. This is where I normally name everybody. We're going to wrap it up. You can wave and say goodbye to everybody. We'll see you next week. God bless you all, and good night.